it's very easy to keep it fresh. If it was just I don't know, if it was just a funny, wacky situation, you know, it might be harder, but I'm really just kind of like trying to have a good time with everybody and trying to figure them out, and I really can't figure any of them out. And it's kind of bottomless that way, but I think it's because it's a good play, you know. There's a lot of room to kind of play. Of course, you can't play too much, then you don't get your line in time. Yeah. It's actually a very demanding play because rhythmically it's got to be right on.
Yeah, it's like consistent every night that I've been.
Wow, because we go back to like, I step on that one laugh.
Yeah.
That consonant, if I'll just back off right there and get that laugh.
I think too, just listening to each other makes it a little different every night because you're responding to what you're getting, and that keeps you concentrated, and that keeps it fresh too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a misplaced prop can keep it.
Yeah.
You know, or someone falling, or
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that can happen. It's so easy. And the audience laughs, and we haven't heard that laugh before, and
Right.
all of a sudden everything sounds different. You know.
Yes.
For those of you that have done both, do you prefer stage to TV acting or TV to stage, and why?
Stage. Stage. There's something inherently dangerous about stage. It's, you know, because you can crash at any time. And like, if someone forgets the butter dish to put that on, you know, then we're screwed. Because the whole part of the second act revolves around that. That butter dish is like the beginning of everything. So there's something inherently dangerous about it. I've said this many times before, but I liken on stage, you're like a Benihana chef, which is like, you know, Benihana, it's a restaurant where the guy comes in and prepares it.
He's partnered with Stan Laurel.
And he's got all of the ingredients, but he has to make the product point of sale in front of the customers and serve it to them. And that's what you are. You're, as a stage actor, you're like the Benihana chef. And so in theater, oftentimes, like the producer will be going home that night. And you'll pass him in the corridor, and he'll be going home to watch television, and you'll be coming into work, and there'll be real respect. You'll be like, hello, Mr. Marsters. And it's not like, you know, oh, the talent's here, you gotta be nice. It's like, you're gonna create this out of whole cloth and serve it, and I'm gonna trust you to go home. Whereas in television, you're really just one of the ingredients. You're just like a little piece of celery. And the editor is going to cut that up later and make a story out of it. But you just have to be this freshest little piece of celery you can. And that's really hard, actually. There's something about the camera will catch you lying like that. So it's an act of bravery to realize that maybe 14 million people are staring. Like when they say action, 14 million people are staring at you. Be natural. It is hard, but it's not as. I don't feel like I'm juggling as many balls. Like when it's really working, I'm just like, I've got like 7 balls up in the air. So, Carol, what do you think?
I think for me, theater is my first love. It's where I started. One of the reasons that I'm so crazy about it is the time that you get as an actor to work on the character. And that's not so with television or film. At least that's not been my experience. And I love to just know everything about the character that I'm working on in theater. You can't do that in television. So theater's my favorite. Absolutely, hands down.
I kind of like to alternate between both, and it was very useful to me in this particular part. I didn't have very much time to prepare. I became Juliet's understudy about a week before previews, and so a lot of it was me working at home without much rehearsal, like with recordings, and I had to work on it like you would on a TV show or film where you don't have rehearsal. So I was grateful for my TV film experience. Not that I'm as experienced as these guys in that arena, but you know that really helped me. I needed it in this situation. So they kind of feed each other.
Did you have any rehearsal? Real rehearsal?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 hours of rehearsal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
But I got some good. Very helpful, strong notes, you know,
God help us, don't make a mistake, please help us.
Yes.
The characters, I loved all of them right off the first night I saw them, and they're very endearing. And each one seems defines all at the end seems content with a new situation. They worked through difficult, and then they got to a place where they felt like they could be content, except for Chris. To me, I'm kind of a little worried about him.
He has a family now.
I thought, is that
He's
enough?
so.
I mean,
The
you're
kind
not
of-
going to raise hopelessness.
No.
The thing I love about Ellen's, the story that Ellen's constructed that's great is that it sort of becomes this idea. There's a couple things going on. One is, of course, this sort of this feminist story of a woman who only thinks that this man is going to save her from the life that she's been stuck in, and realizes, I don't need him to do that. I can do it myself. There's that, but the other end of it is, it's all dysfunctional largely because Molly's caught in the middle of it. And it becomes less dysfunctional when she can remove herself from it. Because they work kind of like with Chris, and this is my interpretation, by the way, this is my interpretation is that Maxine, and Eli and Chris and Ida have found this kind of rhythm, and it's working for them, and they're not upset, and they're not going, I want to get out of here, and this is too much. Chris has the family that he always wanted. Maxine has Maxine gets to go back home a little bit and feels like she's lost control of her home life. And then it was taking Maxine out of the mix was good for everybody.
You mean Molly?
I meant Molly. As long as everyone knows what I meant. Removing Molly from it sort of.
Because they use her as like a punching bag, and when she's out of the mix, they're like all on their best behavior.
Yeah, there's no one, they become more introspective because they have no one to kind of put everything on. They put their baggage.
This is my fault.
Molly only.
No, but you're the one that's brave enough to change the situation, even though it's hard.
No, what it is it's a mixture of, no, I'm going to save this. No. It's not that it's your fault, it's that there is a dynamic that's going on that is not working, that you're at odds with one another. And if we could just take, and sometimes you just, because you're happy where you get to have the life you want, they get to have sort of the dynamic they want.
Yeah.
And everybody wins at the end. It's kind of I think it's a happy ending. Everyone worries about whether Chris and Molly are going to get back together, and who was it who had somebody here had a theory on, there you are. I want to hear next to you, Rob. I want to hear your, she has the take on the whole sequel.
Well, I told you it was long. You gotta get the TV deal.
Oh, I got a TV. It's only worth it if I get the TV deal?
It's a long.
Oh, there's no simple, I got it.
It's character development.
I got it.
But I
Okay,
think,
there's no simple answer. Just tell me, do Chris and Molly get together?
no.
Oh, well, there you have it, folks.
But I do agree with you that her enabling was having that stop is what changed the dynamic of everybody. And in my version, everything's really happy.
Uh-huh. Great.
Did I and Chris get together in your version? Why didn't Chris get together?
She does some fan fiction now. It's going to be great.
No, but I do think that this last time we talked about the fact that it was a feminist statement that she goes off to be alone.
Right.
But I was talking to Ellen, and I think it's also a feminist statement to say after learning that you don't have to be a caregiver, that you don't have to fill any particular roles. Then also falling in love to be very feminist. If you're empowered.
You make the decision.
Right.
Yeah, you have your own.
If you're not looking for it for something, you're not looking at
losing
it.
yourself in other people.
Right.
Yeah.
You come together as strength.
Oh, we figured out the play. Somebody had a hand up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this question for all of you guys is, what's your most embarrassing moment that you guys have had on stage?
Besides right
Most embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
In this play? Or-
Any that you've been in.
I remember when I came to, go ahead.
What? You could tell us.
I came from Chicago to Seattle. I had a theater company in Chicago, and we moved to Seattle because I think Lanford Wilson had just moved there. And so coming from Chicago, you're like, oh, the big Chicago actors here in Seattle. And so I got a lot of heat in the beginning, and I was doing a Shaw play, Miss Alliance. And Rick Tudor, who is a big-time Seattle actor, and me are on the apron doing dialogue. And I go up. I got nothing. I had no idea what to say next. And I turn to Rick, like, help me. And Rick just goes, take it, big-time Chicago boy. Show us how to do it here. And I just stretched out in the wind for, seemed like about 5 years. Probably, like 10 seconds, but he wasn't going to help me at all. He was loving it.
The nude one?
Oh yeah, there's another one.
There's a new one, and you led with that one?
Okay, that's pretty okay. Okay, here's the other one. When my first equity show was in Chicago at the Goodman doing The Tempest, and Bob Falls had just taken over the Goodman, and he wanted all of the uptight people to leave the audience. He wanted to drive out a bunch of the subscription house to make way for a younger, more kind of hip and eager audience for new stuff. So he was slamming nudity into every play that he possibly could. And so I was playing Ferdinand, which is like in The Tempest, which is like the perfect guy for the character of Miranda. And so he had me come out spread eagle, like Da Vinci's sketch of the perfect man. But and I was told that the lighting would be tasteful. But the lighting designer broke his leg in Denver the week before we went in tech, so his assistant lit it like Vegas. And you could just hear the opera glasses clicking. And it was not an auspicious way to start your career in Chicago. It was not a way to gain respect, but I remember the sprites would show me Penthouse magazine before because I was tied in, right? So they would like shove Penthouse magazine in front of me, trying to get me, And I was like, fuck.
Does anyone want to follow that? Is that good enough for
Dignity.
We have time for one or two, possibly more questions. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, I have 5-year-olds and I'm trying to get him into commercials and print ads and stuff already. Do you think he's too young?
No.
Jump right into
I have
that.
3 granddaughters who are doing that. And,
Yeah? Okay.
no, it's not too young. It just, but remember, it's going to, if you get with an agent or anybody, it's going to mean a lot on you because you're going to have to take them every time they get a call.
Yeah, well, we live up in the high desert. He has an agent, and I've had to come down here a few times so far, but it hasn't been bad. So.
Okay, but I think, it's really going to be sacrificing your part to do it. It's great because you can put all the money towards their college.
If the child is having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
That's
the
very
thing.
important.
That's really important.
That's
If the
it.
child's going, I don't think I want, then listen to it.
Yeah, listen to what they say and don't.
It is, at the end of the day, child labor.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure, to perform. But if you intercede, if you protect the child from that pressure and monitor that they're having fun, because if a kid is having fun, it's cold. Just roll on it and it's cold. And you're right. As long as if the kid says, "I'm not having fun anymore," then you back them up and say, "Cool."
One more? Anybody? I got your question earlier,
Yeah.
but I won't take it again. Is there anyone else who hasn't asked a question?
I just wanted to find out what was her answer to the picket line.
And Frank never left her out.
some drinks and refreshments, and I'll see you out there.
Love it.